All right, let's jump right into this explainer. I want you to picture something we can all easily visualize. A massive, chaotic city built entirely without a blueprint. Imagine roads leading to absolutely nowhere, plumbing that's completely disconnected, and skyscrapers literally collapsing under their own weight because, well, nobody planned the foundation. It's a total disaster, right? Well, today, we're talking about how that exact same chaos happens inside major organizations, and more importantly, how we can actually prevent it. Now, take that mental image of the crumbling city and apply it to a corporate IT landscape. When you build without a plan, you get what we call spaghetti code, just an absolute mess of tangled systems, disconnected departments, and an unbelievable amount of wasted money. It's kind of like being in a boat where the corporate strategy oars and the IT oars are rowing in completely opposite directions. You're going to see exactly why we desperately need a master blueprint to untangle all that spaghetti, bring some order to the chaos, and get the whole boat rowing together so we can actually move fast. So what is this master blueprint? It's called Enterprise Architecture, or EA for short. Think of it as the literal DNA of an organization. At its core, EA is the practice of designing and aligning a company's business processes, information systems, and tech infrastructure to hit those big strategic objectives. But in plain English, it just means ensuring that every single IT dollar spent directly funds the CEO's long-term vision instead of being flushed down the drain on tech that doesn't push the business forward. Here is our roadmap for the explainer today. First, we'll cover why architecture matters. Then we'll dive into the golden rules. And finally, we'll wrap up with a continuous discipline. Let's kick things off with Section 1, why architecture matters, and honestly, the hero's superpowers it brings to the table. Have you ever sat in a meeting where executives and developers are basically speaking two completely different languages? The business side is over there talking about customer retention and profit metrics, while the IT folks are deep in the weeds talking about SQL databases and API endpoints. Well, enterprise architecture acts as the ultimate translator sitting right between them. By mapping things out functionally, EA bridges that communication gap. It ensures that the tech solutions IT builds are actually solving the real-world business headaches that keep executives up at night. Think of EA as giving leadership a fully interactive, holographic map of the entire battlefield before they make a move. This kind of visibility optimizes resources brilliantly. Take two banks merging, for example. Without EA, it is total chaos, and you end up paying for duplicate tools. But an architect looks at that map, spots two completely separate HR payroll systems, and consolidates them. Boom, you just saved millions in double licensing fees. Or think about agility during a crisis. A rigid company is going to scramble, but a company with a modular EA framework can smoothly pivot thousands of employees to remote work in a matter of days, just because their cloud architecture was already built for that kind of flexibility. But it's not just about moving fast, right? It's about moving safely. EA builds a secure innovation sandbox. This is what lets an insurance company test cool new drone imagery for roof damage without accidentally crashing their main corporate claims database. It also maps out data flows to prevent those massive GDPR compliance fines. And when it is finally time for a massive overhaul, like moving from a messy current state to a clean future state, EA provides a meticulous, step-by-step roadmap. That way, phasing in a 20-year telecom billing system upgrade doesn't cause a massive outage for your everyday customers. The really crucial takeaway here is that EA stops industry buzzwords from turning into incredibly expensive mistakes. It's the core engine driving true digital transformation. It analyzes the environment to tell you which heavy databases need to stay on local hardware and which video streams should scale on the cloud. It makes sure an AI chatbot is actually plugged into the customer's CRM so it knows who it's talking to. It cleanses massive, messy data feeds into one centralized data lake. And it uses edge computing for the Internet of Things, ensuring that thousands of smart city street sensors don't crash the central traffic network all at the exact same time. Okay, moving on to Section 2, the golden rules, how architects build the business. So, how do they actually pull this off? Well, the golden rules start with alignment and integration, like making sure a new mobile banking app for youth perfectly syncs the front end with the back end inventory so you don't accidentally double sell. But to communicate that, architects use a little magic trick called abstraction. It's fascinating. Abstraction lets them hide millions of lines of dense, tangled code, firewalls, and servers behind a really simple, high-level visual flowchart. Because of this, an executive can review a complex onboarding workflow and completely understand the business process without needing a computer science degree. Then we have traceability. Think of this as the ultimate digital domino effect, because everything is mapped out, from the highest business goals at the top down to the actual servers at the bottom. If a developer wants to change just a single database field name, they can explicitly trace the impact. The system flags exactly which mobile apps, delivery portals, and printers will break downstream before they even touch the code. Next up, architects rely heavily on modularity and standardization. I like to think of modularity as building your business out of Lego bricks. Take a university. Enrollment, grading, and scheduling are all independent bricks. If the grading system gets a nasty bug and goes offline, the enrollment portal stays up and running perfectly. Standardization pairs with this by mandating universal platforms to kill off complexity. It's like forcing every single department to use the exact same database platform and laptop security settings. It drastically reduces costs and IT headaches. Finally, there's governance. This is where the Architecture Review Board steps in to play gatekeeper, stopping a rogue marketing manager from blindly swiping a corporate card on an unvetted, insecure $200,000 software tool. They also enforce collaboration, literally putting tech engineers and warehouse workers at the same table so the scanning software they build actually works for people wearing thick industrial gloves. And above all, they maintain a ruthless focus on business value. They will gladly kill a trendy, hyper-expensive blockchain project in favor of a basic optical character recognition system if it measurably saves the company a cool $150,000 in manual labor. Which brings us to our final stop, Section 3, a continuous discipline, the professor's takeaway. Here's the thing about enterprise architecture. It's not a one-and-done, check-the-box project that you finish and shove on a dusty shelf. It is a continuous, living discipline. It's the ongoing work of updating that 15-year-old legacy system so it can finally handle modern tech, like digital wallets and AI fraud detection. And because we have to adapt constantly, we have to look really closely at what happens when these efforts fall short in the real world. So what actually happens when it all goes wrong? When a massive technology initiative collapses, it is almost always because they ignored these core principles. They lacked a blueprint, they bypassed abstraction, skipped modularity, or completely lost sight of business alignment. A business operating without an architecture is really just a chaotic city waiting to fall apart. So, taking a look at the systems around you today, is your organization building a master blueprint, or are you just adding more spaghetti to the pile?